Hey everybody, welcome to Dirtycakes Live at 5. Great to see you. Please don't forget to subscribe. On today's show we got Allie from Pilates Punx, as well as the band Bummed Out, which you're listening to today. And I'd like to thank Cattle and Bread for this bitchin' shirt. Our charity of choice today is Music Cares. So anyway, great to see you. We're going to be live any second when Pilates Punx comes in. Excited to have you on the show. So, everybody jumping in, fantastic. I hope you're having fun. This is Dirtycakes Live at 5, which is live at 5 every Wednesday and Friday. Make sure to check us out on all of your podcast networks of choice and on YouTube and right here on Instagram as well. Oh, here she comes. She's coming in to get it. We have Bummed Out playing Cocaine Riot, which you should definitely check out. And absolutely, hey! Oh! How are you doing?
I'm okay. So thank you for having me. I don't know much about you guys, but I went through your Instagram, and I know that we like the same politics. You like chicks wearing stickers, and we're gonna talk about cake today. So.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So you have cake. You've got.
Where's your cake?
I don't have any cake.
Do you want a piece?
I do want a piece.
Hang on. I'll send my dog to bring it to you.
Okay. In the background there, let's see. We have. Wow, what is going on here? I feel like we're being invaded. That's okay. Oh my god. Okay. What is this? Let's see. Through the miracle of the internet, I now have cake. Oh my god, this is chocolate cake. I love cake.
I just think it's really weird that you would have a baking podcast and not have a baked good. We're talking about recipes, right?
I don't think so, but we could definitely talk about recipes if you'd like.
I thought this was a recipe swap.
I mean, we can absolutely talk about recipes. Absolutely.
Now, this is a rare occasion, but I can't hear you very well, so I need to turn this up.
Oh, wow. You can't hear me very well. Nobody, you might be the first person in the world to say they can't.
It was the volume button. I figured it out.
Oh, okay. Good. You got it figured out.
Yeah.
That's great. First off, so.
My co-host here.
Awesome. Okay, there we go. So we have Morrison, Mr. Morrison T. Couple Up. Check him out on Instagram. I'd like to also thank Liquid Death and Cake, as our man Dubs is saying. What absolutely just best combination for a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, you got it. I just want to call attention. Morrison is the lead Pilates instructor at Pilates Punx.
Yes.
He's not that creative with moves, though. He just tells people to plank all day.
Gotcha. Well, he's really good at it, and it's good for your core. I feel like if anyone's going to show you how to get core strength by planking, it should be Morrison T. Papala.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's hottest.
So I wanted to thank you for coming on the show. We had actually one of your clients on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, I saw him on Thursday.
You saw him on Thursday.
Yeah. So I understand that you guys had some technical difficulties on Wednesday, and it's the lack of navel to spine connection.
That's what
I understand.
Yeah, after the fact, we did determine that it was the lack of a navel spine connection. So we're gonna have to get that, work on our form, and then we'll probably redo it.
Yeah. So if you go to YouTube and type in Pilates Punx, I don't have my fancy own URL because I have 104 subscribers on there.
Ooh.
Not 1,000, but you can find some free workout videos on there, and that'll help you with that navel to spine connection.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, I did one of those workouts this morning. I did the most recent one where you're wearing this awesome Dio shirt. And one of the things that I love about Pilates Punx, and I'm totally guilty of this, is all of the merch and the import stuff. You guys, it's the only place in LA you can get any of this stuff.
So, fun little story about the shirts. I don't know if you know my fiance. We weren't engaged when we went. We went it was technically our second date.
Okay.
But, I got to introduce him to one of my favorite bands because somehow he made it to his 30s without really knowing the Buzzcocks, and he wound up really liking them, and then sent me a text saying, hey, they're playing. And I clicked on the link he sent me, and I was like, these tickets are in euros. And then I figured out that they were playing in the Netherlands. And the boyfriend at the time figures out, you know, okay, it's going to be about $1,000 a person to get there and turn it around, see the show. And I was like, well, I found it for $500 a person, or whatever the amount was. I got like half price. And he's like, okay, let's do it. So we go to Amsterdam. We go to whatever small town an hour away from Amsterdam the show is. And Pete Shelley died about 9 days before the show. So we wind up seeing the best Buzzcocks tribute I think I could ever see. And then we wandered around in Amsterdam, and we found this really cool little like skate shop that had all these cool band shirts. And I had this idea of Pilates Punx in my head, and I was working on a business plan, but it wasn't really open yet. But I took a picture of like the tag in the shirt, and then I figured I just like tracked it back down and was like, oh, cool. Because all the shirts we saw in Amsterdam were not the same shirts that I saw here. Like every Ramones shirt here is like the circle. They're, you know, they're typical Ramones thing. And I found some like really cool prints that I had never seen. And so, you know, it's a little bit different than just going down to like the mall, or you can get like all kinds of crazy stuff on Walmart.com now. Like I was looking, and like somehow I came across this cool sweater the other day, and I was like Googling ghosts. And like Ghost, the band, has really expensive t-shirts sold through Walmart. Really weird. But yeah.
Really?
Ghost
has really expensive shirts sold through Walmart.
Yeah. Like $40 a t-shirt.
Now I've seen pictures of people that have gone into like Neiman Marcus or spot in Beverly Hills, where they have the Iron Maiden back patch Wrangler jacket, and it's $1,200.
Yeah, I saw, I think it was like a Judas Priest shirt or something at Nordstrom, and it was a $450 t-shirt. And there was a rack full of it. So it's like, it's not a rare shirt, it's not a collectible that nobody else is going to have, because they have like 20 shirts here. $450. You know who's not wearing that shirt? A Judas Priest fan. Yeah,
absolutely. Judas Priest fan. I mean, why would you? That makes no sense. But so getting back to the merch, one of the things that I love, because I think I've actually bought 3 or 4 shirts from you guys already.
You definitely have like at least 6 shirts. I mean, I've never seen your shirt collection before at all.
Right, so I've got 2 of the actual Pilates Punx shirts.
Yeah.
Now, anybody that may or may not know, I'm a huge t-shirt junkie, and I have drawers full of shirts. And basically, I thoroughly enjoy it. Like people have t-shirt, or people have like sneaker collection. They're not up on the t-shirt game. They need to up their game. And of the Pilates Punx stuff, I've got both the one with well, let's see. I've got the Blondie, right?
Blondie, Alice Cooper, Ramones, Thin Lizzy.
Well, no, the actual Pilates Punx shirts, not even the import. The Pilates Punx.
Yeah.
Working out on a reformer, and the Joe Strummer, where he's opened up his thing, and it's a brick wall with the Pilates Punx. Now, I have the actual Pilates Punx shirts. Mm-hmm. I should snag a couple because I did just do laundry, and I wear them a lot. There's a Ramones shirt. I think I was actually wearing it in the last live, which is awesome. It's like this animated shirt from the 70s. And then there's a really bitchin' Alice Cooper Madhouse shirt, which, I mean, again, like if you're like me and you saw all the rock music magazines, and you went to Hot Topic all the time, or you saw all the stuff, or you've been on the internet looking at all the things. I personally had never, ever seen like that Alice Cooper shirt, or that Ramones shirt, or that Dio shirt, or there's Thin Lizzy shirts that I hadn't ever seen before. And as a t-shirt junkie, seeing completely brand new prints that I've spent 20 years of my life looking at old like rock and roll t-shirts. I've never seen them.
And
it was
that's
cool.
We have them is because like we're right next door to this really cool vintage shop, and there's like record stores all over the place, and then the internet. And so if we have like the same Misfit shirt that you can get anywhere, why are you gonna come in and buy it from us versus just grabbing it somewhere else that you might already go? And so it's like I kind of want to trick people in to like coming into the studio for the shirt and then being like, wait a minute, what are these things? And then like they learn a little bit about maybe what Pilates is or what they're gonna do, and so then they're like kind of intrigued, and then maybe they come back for a class. Like come in for the shirt, come back for the class.
Gotcha. And I think it's a great hook. I mean, you've
taken classes.
What's that?
You've taken classes.
I have taken classes, and that's one of the things is that I have seen people come by when you're in a class, come by and like stare at the merch in the window and all that stuff. And it's not just cool t-shirts. There's also leggings and gloves and footwear and all that other cool stuff. So it's a whole punk rock themed fashion thing that you can get. It's right up in the window. But getting to Pilates Punx, the actual Pilates of it all, like first off, I think there's a massive misunderstanding, or people just don't even know what Pilates is. I've heard people say it's some like fun 90s thing that was invented by housewives, or they don't want to do Pilates because they've already tried yoga, or like, all other things. And I feel like there's this massive misunderstanding of just how awesome Pilates is.
Yeah, I mean, well, for starters, fuck yoga. I mean, whatever. I understand people enjoy yoga. I can't get down with it. But the thing is, everyone's like, oh, like, you teach Pilates. Isn't that just like yoga? Or I just get introduced as like, oh, she's a yoga instructor. And they're just completely different wheelhouses where there might be some crossover on certain things you're working on, but there's crossover between like your form running and, riding a bike. Like they're not the same, but you need to be in tune and aware of your body. So Pilates, you can do mat Pilates, which I've been doing quite a lot of because we've been closed over, the whole stay home thing. But we have reformers, and then there's a Cadillac and one-to chair. So there are apparatuses that you use, and they're spring-based. So it's actually strength training, and it's a much kind of more controlled and safer version than like lifting free weights, because with like if you're taking a weight and you're just doing a bicep curl, like you could just move your arm all willy-nilly and like think you're doing work. But when you have to balance, otherwise you're going to face plant, like you're going to engage your core and be a little bit more deliberate with how you're moving your arms. And so it becomes this really just kind of efficient workout where instead of spending like 50 minutes working your legs and then working your arms, you're working like your legs and your arms and your core all at once for 50 minutes. It's not like you're working just this. So you're always engaging stuff. And the reason I started Pilates Punx as well is it does get a bad rap. It's like, it's for, like moms to go take a class right before they pick their kid up from soccer practice or whatever. And it's priced so ridiculously. And that's sort of why it's associated with like rich housewives, because they maybe are the only people that can afford a lot of these studios. But I personally discovered Pilates through a coworker, and I couldn't afford to do it. So I started getting certified because it was just cheaper for me in the long run to pay money to learn how to do like the teaching portion and learn it on my own body than to pay for a studio membership. And then I started really liking teaching. So I just started thinking about like, hey, like not only was I not able to afford it, but I used to bartend. I get out of work at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I would sleep through all the classes at the studio. So it was just like not available for my life. And I just started thinking up like, how would I create something that's just like accessible to everybody? And on top of that, just like price point, I feel really awkward and uncomfortable going into places where I don't feel like I fit. Like, I remember I was like really scared to go to a tattoo shop before I had a tattoo.
Sure.
I won't go to like a party if I don't know like 90% of the people. Like, I'm a little weird. So I feel like there are a lot of places that are not welcoming to new clients or to people that are like, you know, like I'm not like a super like Zen, holistic, like just, I'm not looking to like,
Say like, all right, we're going to align our chakras or
yeah.
any foo-foo nonsense.
Right. And so like, I think so many places draw from that element, and it's something that, you know, like there's enough of that, right? But there isn't a place for like somebody who maybe doesn't really know what Pilates is, but they, you know, their doctor was like, hey, you know, something that will help your back is taking Pilates. It's really good for your body and you can rehabilitate and work all these things out with this particular style of exercise. And these people, my thing keeps going to sleep. A lot of the times, like, you know, you find these places that are just like not comfortable for people like me, but like, you know, I'm not the only person out there that wants to like listen to the Ramones and the Misfits, or, you know, like just go in and wear whatever, you know, like I don't
I mean, I've been in classes before, and I love it. It's like those classes. I mean, when I think of Pilates, I'm thinking of all like basically Instagram models going and working out to like Enya and like and like Dead Mouse or Dead Mouse 5, right?
Yeah.
And I go into your place, and it's like people walking in. Like I'll walk in cutoffs and a band tee, and you've got like the Misfits or like I don't know, Orange Goblin or like Judas Priest playing, and it's just this comfortable place for as I think it's what all the bubblegum chewing tattooed freaks can feel at home while also getting like healthy and happy and not having to put on airs to be around all the other tattooed folks that just want to like enjoy something. Because at the end of the day, like I feel like when I'm working out and I'm in a good mood and I'm motivated and I'm happy and like I'm listening to something that gets me moving, like when I listen to that rock and roll, I want to move. And
Yeah.
I got to react anyway.
Like, music is so powerful and it can change your mood and boost your mood. And it actually has been proven that it can like add to your workout. So if you look like on Spotify, you can find playlists that are sort of like sorted by how many like beats per minute they are. And that's more for like people who are looking to put together like a running playlist, or they're looking to put something together for like a spin class. But you don't need to necessarily like only use music to like move a certain pace. Like you can do it, you can be motivated by hearing your own songs that you enjoy. And there's nothing worse than being in a workout class and being like, when is this over? And looking at the clock and it's like, we're only 10 minutes in. The remix has been on the whole time. Because like, I'm sorry, I don't want to listen to house music ever.
Yeah, if there's like house,
pushing myself to do something that maybe I don't want to do that day. Like not everybody wants to go and exercise, and I enjoy exercise a lot, but there are some days that I'm just like, nah, I could have a piece of cake instead, and I'll be like, no, like go exercise then have cake, and nice. And like going to a place where you're just like, oh man, this atmosphere is killing me. It doesn't motivate you. But if you know that you can at least just like feel comfortable and like zone out listening to the tunes, you know, it's there are enough of us rock and rollers out there.
Absolutely. I mean, I've made like workout mixes to go to the gym, and my iPod at the time would be like Deftones, Queens of the Stone, would be a lot of like desert stuff in late 90s rock and roll, because it's like high energy and there's a bit of grooviness to it and whatever else, and like I can get lost in it and I don't realize that like I've been doing whatever for 15-20 minutes. Half the time it's just like, all right, I'm doing whatever, and like if the music sucks or if it's background wallpaper and it's not even something that you're do, then you're so much more conscious about what you're doing, which is a higher stress level, and you're just like, it's miserable to go. But if you got a joint where I can go and actually enjoy myself, like if I wasn't even working out, I would just hang out there because it's what the music I would listen to when I'm hanging out.
Does that make you a creeper?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying I'm not gonna go to I'm not going there specifically to like just stand by the machine and have some liquid death.
Who, by the way, they donated a whole bunch of liquid death to our awesome grand opening party that we had back in September, you know, when we were allowed to be open.
Yeah, so that's a great thing I wanted to get into. So because of all this COVID nonsense, Pilates Punx, the studio hasn't been able to be open. So you moved a lot towards online stuff.
Yeah.
And that's been really great. And I'd love for people to understand what it is that they can do, not just to support you, but how they can utilize what you're doing to support themselves, because you're just providing an opportunity for people at this time. You know, I think in the first few weeks, everybody was just eating like crap and drinking a lot, feeling like we are going to get back to it. But now it's the new world.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And everybody gets into their routines, and their routine might be going to a class or going for a run outside without having fear that like your neighbor's going to yell at you because you're like within 6 feet of them or whatever. And so we took to initially doing like a free 30-minute class on Instagram Live every day, and then selling a 50-minute full-length class, so like a 50-minute full-length video for $5. So if you didn't want to do Instagram Live or you just didn't catch it, you could buy this video and do it whenever. And then as things continued going on and Instagram was like, hey, you just shot that live, you can't keep it up for 24 hours, started making YouTube videos, and the sound quality of the YouTube videos are a lot better. I'm able to record them and go in and edit it and stuff. So those have been a lot more popular, but those are 25-minute workouts. And then we also sell the 50-minute ones for $5 on PilatesPunx.com. But now that we're stretching this out even longer, we started doing virtual classes, which our booking system's Mind Body, and it's just utilized straight through that. So if you sign up for a class on our site, it sends you a link and it streams right on there. So you have kind of this, if you're really good at working out on your own and you just need someone to make the workout for you and do it and explain it, YouTube or just buying the videos. But if you're just like, well, I don't do it at a certain time, it'll never get done, we have set classes on the schedule. So you can do like a 9 a.m. workout or a 5 p.m. workout where you sign up for it and then you're kind of like locked into it. So, and they're really useful because you have verbal cues and visual cues with that. So, it's just, we're trying to create something that's accessible because we can't be open. And I believe so much in working out, not only just for your body, but for your mind. Like, I get super cranky when I don't work out, and I know that like if I go extra long, it turns into like a funk. And I think that so many people kind of let themselves just get into that like funk, like that, like, all right, I'm not moving my body and I can't really do that much and I can't travel and my birthday is canceled and like all these things. And so I'm trying to remind people, because the last thing you want to do when you're in that space is work out.
Right.
But it's probably the thing that actually is like, you don't even realize will make you feel better.
Yeah, no, I mean, working out, moving the body, getting the stuff like the structure. I mean, I've done it in the mornings, like I know I'm stressed. Like for me, working out, there's endorphins. Like it's a great way to feel good. It make you feel good about yourself when you start the day with that kind of thing. Like I can't do it too late at night. You know, Nicole's giving a thumbs up too. You know, I think the working out is great, and I mean, I think that not only is it strong for being, looking good, but it's also feeling good, being mentally sound. And I think that it's something that a lot of people are trying to get into. I think there's a big rush of things happening, and people just don't know what to do. And I know, like some people, like Dubs, who was watching this, he's been walking a lot. Like he's been walking from Silver Lake to the Hollywood sign down to like Malibu and back. Like the guy's been hoofing it. But not everybody can do that. Sometimes it's too hot outside. Sometimes you want to do more than just go around the reservoir or take a lap around your neighborhood.
Yeah.
So online classes are really providing that opportunity. And one of the things that I want to talk to you about too, with the online classes, because like I'm looking at it, what I've seen from Pilates Punx, when you look in the window, there's these big machines that look kind of like torture devices or some other things. Like people get kind of freaked out or it's intimidating. And you've mentioned before like mat classes. And I think that, like, I mean, that's what's available online. And I personally have been doing those a lot lately, just like on the floor, right? But on the carpet. And I think what would be great is for people to understand exactly like what it is that they need, how hard is it, who the person that can do it. Because I could say a million things, but I think coming from you, so that somebody watching this can understand, like,
so, and that's the thing, like a lot of people are like, oh, if you're not using the machines, are you even doing Pilates? And the thing about mat Pilates is that if you were doing it right, it's fucking hard. If you're not doing it correctly, like that, it's the easiest thing to screw up, I'd say, because you don't have like shoulder blocks holding you in place and like a specific space that is created to reform your body. But on a mat, like if you listen to the cues, you don't speed through the work. Like I am known for slowing things down and making people hate me. So like the longer you hold something, if you think about it, like you take something as simple as a plank, right? It's not that big of a movement. You're just in a straight line. The longer you hold it, the harder it is. So with that I'm having you guys do, if you're staying with my cues instead of being like, I know where she's going next, stick with me, you're going to get like all these crazy little shapes. But the beauty of it is that, I mean, you don't need a mat. You could have just nothing. But I would, say it's probably a lot more comfortable if you do have a mat or at least like a blanket on the floor. But you don't need anything. I do sprinkle in a little bit of extra stuff because like I personally I like working my arms because I don't want like the second goodbye. But if you don't have them, like open up your cabinet, see if you have like soup cans in there. Each can of food is approximately like a pound, I've found.
Sure, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like fill water bottles up. I had a client text me, she took her loose change and put it into socks and made little makeshift weights. So you can always use that. You can also just make your own resistance because if you're just like slowly curling your arm, like you're flexing your bicep. Hey, my bicep's working. So you don't need much of anything. I utilize like resistance bands sometimes to make it more challenging or more supportive. Sometimes I sprinkle in a ball just so that people don't get bored. But they help me kind of create a little bit of a change in the workout. But you don't need them. And if you want them, you can buy them.
Yeah.
I have a whole site set up for things, shop.pilatespunx.com.
I that like I've done workouts where it's literally me on the floor with nothing other than like the screen, whether it's you or the other instructors like Leah. I don't want to get names because I'll forget somebody. But where it's literally just me on the ground, and I will get up and like the next day it feels like I spent 30 minutes on leg day, or like my back will be sore. Also, not in like a bad way, but like my shoulders or my arms or whatever the muscles are, it feels like I went to the gym and like you could be paying so much money to get on these big massive machines or like whatever the workout du jour of the day is, or you can literally by yourself. And also other things that I've seen work well for weights. I believe I've seen pictures of people using vodka bottles. Yep. Literally anything. You could take 2 of these cans and just do them. I think there's a absolute ribbon version of a workout that you could absolutely do.
Yeah, I mean anything that you have like that has some weight, as long as they're even. I wouldn't
right.
pounds in one hand and 1 pound in the other. But I mean, that is the beauty of Pilates. It's like, to me, it's the most punk rock because it's like a fucking DIY exercise.
Yeah, I love that.
You don't need anything. You don't need like kettlebells. You don't need all these different weights. You don't need bands. Those are only things that actually are pulled from other exercise worlds to like make it a little bit more familiar to people. But the classical Pilates regimen, set order, set exercises, no added in anything. It's just your body. And there are some things that are super crazy hard that like I never do in these videos because they're very advanced moves, but like it's amazing the number of things that you can do with no extra added weight or anything. And it's kind of nuts. Like, I have had the pleasure of working with some clients that, like, you know, they'll text me and be like, oh my God, like, I've never had like those little lines for obliques. And I'm like, yeah, because you're doing Pilates. Or, I mean, this is like fun fact about me. I was 5'7" and 3/4. Like, that was, I hit that height when I was like, I don't know, 19, and I would round up and say I was 5'8", but I was 5'7" and 3/4. I started doing Pilates after like a year. I'm 5'9" now. Like, now I've been doing it for years and years and years, but 1 year into Pilates, I grew over an inch. In my 30s, mind you. Like, this wasn't when I was from like 19 to 31, I was 5'7" and 3/4, and then I was 31 and I was 5'9".
That's amazing. Because it's because like it's stretching the body and you're doing all this stuff. I think
like deepening and strengthening, and like your posture gets better, and you're standing taller, and you're even sitting taller.
Yeah, there's two things you touched on here that I like to get over to. Is like, one is, and I love that you talk about like the DIY, the punk aesthetic, and all of this stuff. And like one of them too. I mean, and by the way, in the background, I've been playing a bunch of Bummed Out stuff. So if anybody's listening,
Nice.
because you are also the drummer of Bummed Out, and I want to give a big shout out to that. One of the things that I really would love to talk about is also the punk aesthetic and why you've chosen that path for it and what that means to you. Because for me, and I've said this a lot of times, punk to me is honesty and community. And like, I just feel like there's all of this stuff together. And I think it'd be really great to see like why a lot of people claim punk in whatever the thing is, right? Yeah. And not trying to get you to prove your punk cred, because that's bullshit. But like, why take the route of Pilates Punx as something versus anything else?
Right, and that's something that, like, from the Pilates world, I had other people be like, you're carving out too narrow a niche. Like, you're gonna just alienate people away from you. And I was like, well, I don't believe in that, because the sense of community that I have found, like, throughout my adult life, like, through music. And so it's something where, like, I started a band when I was 19. My best friend picked up her brother's bass. I picked up my brother's guitar, and we were just like, we could probably pull off punk music. Like, we could learn that and then like get better. And we just decided we didn't want to get better. Like, you know, we didn't want to play anything like that much more intricate or whatever, but we loved all of these bands. And so we were just like, okay, we can do this. So we created a band, found a singer, found a drummer, and I started just like getting introduced to more and more music and just seeing this like great Western Mass music scene, and then like going on tour in some like brown and tan two-tone van and just going to like the little like DIY spots in like Ithaca, New York, and then driving to like Rochester and playing with all these random people. And it was each time like everybody was super nice, everybody was super like-minded, and it's just a sense of this community. And it's just kind of like, you know, you're not like proving your worth in that world unless you're like, you know, there are some people that I think question like women in the punk world or whatever, but I was kind of really fortunate to live in this super like feminist area that nobody would question women at all because they knew they'd get their ass beat. But yeah, I mean, I would say like I got questioned quite a bit just because I didn't look the part when I was younger. Like, I would invite people to see my band and they would show up and be like, huh, the guitar playing was really good. And I'd be like, that's a lie. I'm not good at guitar. And they were like, I just like wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, like some singer-songwriter stuff. And I was like, great, I look like a hippie. Like, because I wasn't, like, I have had this, like, crazy-ass Jufro and, like, I don't wear, like, a costume. I don't wear, like, necessarily, like, an armored anything. Like, it's just, like, I've worn what I like to wear, which in the punk world, in the outside world, like, Chuck Taylor's with the dress. Like, I know that my parents would, like, roll their eyes at that, but I was just, like, I'm comfortable. So, you know, and so that's something, like, I grew up and I got older and it wasn't a phase. Like, I watched all these people who were in these great bands when I was younger move on to different projects and move on to things that I didn't like, and I just was still like, I still want to play that music, which is why I love playing with Bummed Out. Like, Alex and I are on the same page, and we just want to write, like, super short songs. Our EP is called Phenomenal Garbage. We just want to write phenomenal garbage. And so with all that said, I love Pilates and working out, and I love punk rock. So why not create a space that are just like my two favorite things? Because it's really easy to believe in something that you love and then make it work from there. Because it's so much harder to like peddle some shit that you're like, I'm just doing this because I think it's going to be like successful. I'd rather push something that I believe in because I believe in it, which is like why I was not super great in the music industry. Because once I started working for like a bigger company and I was like, oh, that CD sucks, I was like, oh shit, I'm supposed to pretend to like it. So I think like it's just a true authenticity for me. And you know, like I selfishly created a space that I just would enjoy to be in. It just so happens that other people like it too.
Yeah, I think that's rad. You know, like we talked with Greg Hetson last episode, and I was asking him about like the origin story of Circle Jerks and punk rock, and he was telling me basically he went to see the Dickies at the Whiskey, and the opening band. I can't remember the opening band. I have to go back and listen to the episode. But he was saying like when he saw the opening band, it was kids that were like a year older than him. And he was like, oh, I could do this. Because people that were like, he grew up with like bands, it was like Kiss or all these people that were just like guitar virtuosos or people wearing makeup or all this other nonsense. And he was like, screw this. And then he saw people who were like, oh, like it's what is effectively now like 3 chords in the truth. Like, I could do that. Friends. And he basically was like, I'm going to do this instead of making other choices. And he surrounded himself with other people. And, you know, he ends up making these bands and doing stuff that was great and just following his passion. And his work. And I think that's something that is really inspiring. That a lot of people I feel like a lot of people are afraid to follow their passions because it's difficult, because it's not safe, because it's a risk.
Yeah. And that's something that like, I mean, I had the same thing where it was just kind of like, I feel like I could figure this out, but I was like going to shows and just being like, you know what would be more fun than going to the show? Having a show, which shows you like my true personality is like, I like hosting things. Like I am a Jewish grandma at heart. Thanksgiving every year is just like all my little misfit children in LA. But I just wanted to like hand out flyers and make stickers and hang them up all over and tell people like, come to my show. And so that was just really where we got started. But it's something that like, it can be intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. And that I think my angle was like, I was more intimidated going to the shows where like, I didn't feel like I was cool enough. So I was like, I'll just play it. But, yeah, like, I don't know. I fucking love the Circle Jerks. And I have like a bunch of playlists at the studio and they just like shuffle into one another. And I swear, like, it doesn't happen unless Greg is in the room, then the Circle Jerks will come on. And I'm just like, I'm not fangirling over you. You gotta hold that plank for longer. Like,
Yeah, and I love for but one of the things I want to put out here is you said like you are known for being hard, and I think that's one of the reasons why people really like you as an instructor versus other people, because when people work out, they expect something from their time, you
Yeah.
know, and like I can vouch because I've taken classes from several people. I like taking a class from you and the instructors that you brought in. It's actually worth your time. Like I don't want to commit a half an hour or an hour of my day to do something where it's kind of like I kind of feel it. I kind of don't like. I walk away like where it is tough to go upstairs the next day.
And that's something where I want to say the counter of that is it's not ever going to be too challenging for anyone.
Right? Yeah, because it's all built on.
Pilates or the modifications. So like you could walk in and you've done a bunch of classes and like Joe Schmo walks in and he's like, I've never done this before, I need anything. And then like some crazy flexible dancer walks in and it's just like, I've been doing Pilates for years. And I could create a class where there are beginner modifications and advanced modifications or like the base exercise where everybody is going to be challenged to the best of their ability, but not in any painful kind of way. But I'm sneaky about it, and that's something that like I strive to have. Like I wrote our training manual, and one of the points in it is like my goal as an instructor is for everybody to leave feeling like they don't need to work out anymore today. Like there's nothing worse than going and taking a class and being like, oh shit, now I feel like I still need to go for a run because like I didn't work out enough. And so that's something where I'm like, I want people to just feel great and move on with their day. So it's the goal.
No, I was gonna say like one of the things I just have to know because I've taken a class with Greg is there's this the middle finger.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I mean, I am really thankful for it. So Greg comes and takes my class, and somewhere I think in like December, we had been doing private sessions before the studio opened, and then he started taking group classes with me. So there's a little bit less like one-on-one specific time. So whenever something is like particularly challenging, he just flips me off. And so I'll be like, that's one. And then we'll go through and I'll be like, two middle fingers. And so my goal is each time now to get like more middle fingers each session. And I think the I've gotten is 8 and then 2 the next day because he was sore. So like 10 is like the marker. That was special for his birthday though.
Yeah, that's great. I was gonna say, in addition to that, like, I guess we're coming up in like 15 minutes to go or something. Not only is there that scale, but there's also the level of support that you've been getting for the classes and for everything else. And I want to say, like, I think that it's awesome that you've done this like very much of the DIY. You've done this by yourself, right? Like it's not like you come from a lot of money. It's not like you've taken in a bunch of things. There's no other stuff. It's literally just like how somebody starts a band and they go out and they flyer things and they throw shows and they do stuff. You've started with the same exact aesthetic. And one of the things about that, about community, is that you've relied on a lot of support. You've relied on a lot of, people, being, it's word of mouth stuff, right? Like you're not out there and doing other things. And part of that, and I want to kind of segue into something is, you're in this contest right now. And I really want to talk about that because I think that this is an awesome thing that's happening. And I'll start with this. You got an amazing support video from, I'm just going to let you take it because I think it was amazing. And like you did, if you could tell a story about the support video and then get into some of this contest because it is so helpful and a way the community could rally behind you for a win for all of us.
Yeah, maybe I can start with explaining the contest. And so I don't remember how I came across it, but there's this Ms. Health and Fitness contest where it's like Ms. Health and Fitness 2020, and the winner gets to be on the cover of Ms. Health and Fitness and gets $20,000. And I was like, I don't know. And then I like clicked on it, and then it was like upload pictures, and I was like, whatever. Like I hate using pictures of myself, so it's always like something where my face isn't showing or whatever. So I upload things and I get a text saying like, oh, you were approved, you're in this contest. And then I was like, I don't know. And I got an email being like, fill out your bio. And I'm like, And then it just kept like prompting me to do things. And I was like, you know what? What do I have to lose? Because I need $20,000 because we owe rent for the time that we're not open. And that's $20,000 that Pilates Punx is not making because we're closed. And, you know, let's just like give it a shot. And so, I've gotten a shit ton of votes. I've gotten a shit ton of support. And, I got this awesome video. I don't know if everybody out there is like a fan of RuPaul's Drag Race.
I am.
I started on, I think the first season I saw was last year, but then I like dipped back in on Hulu and then started it from season 4 moving forward. And the spooky queen, the queen of Halloween, Sharon Needles, won the 4th season, which, like, you know, you always have someone you're rooting for. And I started off being like, I don't know, maybe Latrice is the winner. But then I was like totally Team Sharon, and Sharon Needles wins. And I got this awesome video, which you can see on our Instagram if you want to watch it after this. But it's like the best supportive, like funny. I couldn't have done it better if I wrote it out for her. And even just, I don't want to spoil it, but like the end of it is just like my sense of humor and like my aesthetic and where I'm coming from. And it was so good that my dad, who like, I feel is like the more conservative parent out of my many parents that I have, calls me up and he is like, how did you get a drag queen to make a video for you? It was so funny, I saved it. And I was like, all right, Sharon Needles. So, it's just been an outpour of support and help. And from that, there just have been people that are helping to like repost. And not only, you can vote once every 24 hours. So you don't vote once and it's done. You can vote every day. Which I'm sure is like, okay, Allie, when is this going to end? And it's not going to end until I win $20,000. Every day until I win $20,000. But I came in first place in round 1. I came in first place in round 2. I came in first place in round 3. There are 8 rounds. Yes, there are 8 rounds. But we're in round 4. And it's like basically like a group. And when you win your group, then you get put in with every winner of their group. And then it dwindles down a few more till there's a winner. But just, I mean, your mom has been a huge support, like digging deep into like every Facebook friend that she has. And, you know, like I haven't gone as far down my friends list to like personally message people. And I'm so blown away by how much help and support like other people are sharing with me. And it's nice to see that I'm not out here on my own, because I'm like, I opened this business up by myself, only like to get to a point where I'm like, oh shit, most people have business partners. What the fuck am I doing? And like, be nice to have a business partner to be like, and you know, this potentially sinking ship together, but like, it's not gonna sink because we have this great community of people just like helping me keep it afloat. And with the free videos that we've been doing, like, people have been just like sharing like, okay, I did the video, here's like $5 on Venmo. And that's all been really helpful because these little things add up to, I'm not trying to like profit right now. I'm just trying to stay afloat because my landlord won't give me a break. And you should listen to what Sharon Needles says about rent.
No, absolutely. And that's one of the things I love about it, because when you're looking at this, I mean, it on the surface, I think the majority of the people in this contest, because it's like Miss Health and Fitness, right? So it's all these like...
I'm just going to mention Miss Health and Fitness as a meeting cake.
Right? Because you can. And that's what I'm going to get to. Is it's people that have clearly devoted their entire life to being like, just like, like there's all these people that have completely abnormal bodies, that are completely abnormal people that are genetically predispositioned and made entire lifestyles around this thing that's honestly is like probably not the healthiest message, probably not the most realistic body type. They aren't realistic goals, and
Yeah.
they're taking money so that they can like go on vacations, do all these other things. And instead, you're coming on here as somebody eating chocolate cake. Is like you're somebody that's just like, I'm just trying to keep my business open so that everybody else can feel safe and comfortable in
Yeah.
an environment where you can listen to good music. You can buy you can buy this great merchandise from all over the world. Like you can feel at home being somebody that might not be normal because you are for I think you said
Yeah.
you
And
every
I don't think I talked too much about it, but like aside from the punk rock aesthetic, like my goal is to make the studio a comfortable place, even if you don't like punk rock, to come in and not feel like you're out of place because maybe you're not punk enough, or maybe you're not like a Pilates pro or whatever. And that's something where like I love having like Howard, the guy that owns this like corner building on my block, who's probably in his like late 50s or early 60s, and then Greg Hedson, who was playing punk rock in the 80s, so I don't, older than me. And then you've got somebody who's like, in their 20s, and all these people, all different ages, men and women and non-binary folks, and people who feel comfortable just being who they are, walking in the door and just saying like, hey, I want to feel good, and then I can help them to feel good.
Yeah, and you do it too. Like all these other places. I mean, every other Pilates joint that I've seen or whatever. First off, they're incredibly exclusionary. Like you feel, I personally, as like a not terribly in shape, very unflexible guy that's coming in cut off jeans and tattoos and a band tee, am completely not welcome, and I have to pay an arm and a leg just to walk in the room. The fact that like I think that's one of the things that I really love about it is that the punk aesthetic isn't just the music, it's not just the DIY, it's also that every single person is welcome. Every single person, like no matter who you are, if you're here to enjoy it and you can embrace what we're doing, we're gonna do everything we can to help you out.
Yeah. And I have like a little story. One of my favorite clients, I randomly like got a call on our business phone, and I pick it up to a stranger on the other end saying, I've never done Pilates before. I want to know, and ask me like question after question after question, like more details than the average person calling in is. Like not just the pricing, not just the scheduling, but like, who all is taking classes? Who all is teaching classes? Like, just all of these things about just really knowing like what the atmosphere was before even setting foot in the studio. And the conversation went on for like 20 minutes, and it ended with me just being like, I personally, it sounds to me like you would really benefit from Pilates. Like there were just some negative associations with previous fitness things, and I was just like, it could be really great. It's $10 for your first class. I'm going to suggest you spend $10 by one class. If you don't like it, you don't have to come back. So she came specifically to my class because she had talked to me, and went through class. At the end, came up to me and she was like, so what's the price point on the classes again? And I told her, and she's like, this isn't the last time I'm going to be here. And then buys like a 20-pack of classes and starts coming like multiple days a week. And then to the point of like, like I know like all the like things about her body and like where I can push her. And like, remember one class she went to change a spring, and I was like, wait, stick with me. This is going to be terrible. You don't want to get heavier. And like I got to know her really well. And I was like, this is a person that was like potentially like unsure about the atmosphere, because that's the norm. The norm is walking into something that's like overly pink, or like there's 13 Buddha statues, or like, there's just stuff that you're like, I don't belong here, which is like how I feel if I'm inside of a church. Like it's unfamiliar to me, and I feel like they're gonna shame me for being Jewish. I don't know. So
No, I love that. I love that. because I've seen that too, and I've seen people come in on their first classes and stuff, and I think that's one of the best. If I had to summarize what I like about Pilates Punx, one of the reasons that I really enjoy it, and I've been somebody that is, I came in like once, and then I've been doing it multiple times a week ever since.
And you came in one time to the studio I used to work at. One time.
One time, yeah. And then you opened your own studio, and I've been far more involved. And
yeah.
If I were to say what I like about it the most, and why I've been so supportive of, or not the only reason why, but one of the things I like about it the most, and I've been telling people about it, is the first thing is that it's great for every single person. Like, we've invited my friend Jake, who is a big dude, right?
Yeah.
And he was like me in cutoff shorts, Instagram model, 300-pound Texan. Everybody was working next to each other, completely fine, in the way that like everybody could work out, because it seems like your level of flexibility, your level of comfort, your level of your body size, everything makes the workout adjustable to you. Because like my parents didn't get, with my dad's got his bad back and all this stuff. I think the other side of it is the ethos that it's for everybody that wants to be a part of it, and you're not trying to, you're not faking the funk, right? You are legitimately that person, and you're trying to be as welcoming to every single person as you can, while being very true to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that is great, because one of the things that I like the most is I've seen you just straight up be like, this probably isn't the spot for you, because it seems like, for whatever reason, like if people are causing trouble, if people aren't about like the community of things or whatever, like you can regulate on individuals just because it's like, no, sorry, you're late. Instead of, you can't come in here and interrupt everybody else's time. I'm not going to bend over backwards because you're selfish or because you don't respect people.
Where like I feel like we fortunately attract the right type of people. Like it's few and far between that we have had like any type of trouble at the studio. And there's like one lady in particular that was like really upset because there's special socks you have to wear that have grips on the bottom, and the grip is for safety so you don't slip, and having to wear a sock is hygiene, because who wants to have their bare feet where like 100 other people's bare feet, who knows like what level of cleanliness or healthiness those feet are. So there's socks, and this woman came in and she didn't want to wear her socks and kept being like, well, this other place doesn't make me wear socks. And I was like, you are welcome to leave and get your socks if you have them at home and bring them back. You're welcome to purchase the socks that we have for sale here if you want to. Or you are welcome to not take class and go to the studio that lets you be barefoot. But you were not going to attack the instructor, because it wasn't even me. I was there to take the class. I'm like, you're not going to attack the instructor and yell at her and waste everybody else's time who came here on time and make the class late because you don't want to wear socks. And so like she left and asked for a refund on the class, and I happily gave her a refund. And then she like wrote some scathing Google review saying that I kept her money, and I was like, I refunded your card. The bank takes time. You asked me to Venmo you. I'm a business. Like, we don't Venmo exchange things because like that's Venmo policies. But
I'm not here.
Back, and I'm pretty damn happy to never see her again.
Well, I think Instagram's telling me we're gonna have 2 minutes left before they kick us off.
Oh.
So I want to give you that 2 minutes to just say or do whatever you want. I do want to just plug real quick. It's at Pilates Punx LA, Punx LA. It's Shop Pilates Punx LA, and it's Bummed Out LA, all on Instagram, or you can Google all that stuff.
Tell where I live?
What's that?
Can you tell where I live?
Next to what looks like a wonderful prize from the carnival.
Yes, I live exclusively in this spot. The answer was Los Angeles.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so if you guys are watching this on Pilates Punx LA, there's a highlight that says vote, and if you click on that, it'll be the link to vote for me. And then you can vote every 24 hours. You have to have a Facebook though, but it's free. There's a warrior vote, but if you go a little bit below that, that's the free vote. So You can totally do it once a day, every day, and those votes add up. And not only do I have Instagram at Shop Pilates Punx, but the website shop.pilatespunx.com. That's where you're going to get all these cool t-shirts. I've also got leggings and tops and grip socks and props for your workouts. But like, even if you're not doing Pilates and you want a sweet Dio shirt, I got you. So check it out. And free shipping, $50